Hi everyone, it's Zach with Palantir Research. Palantir is going to lose a major international financial institution as a client, and also more insider selling happening, with amazing marketing though by Palantir to keep winning customers, all while we try to figure out if the NHS contract is Palantir's or not, and much more to cover. So looking at the stock first, another volatile week starting out in the $16 range but dropping all the way down into 14s and flying all the way back up the day that Bloomberg released their NHS news that insiders are saying they won. So with Friday actually breaking deeper into the 16s with a high of 1670, this is the top end of that range I've been talking about the last couple of months here, where they're hovering between $14 to $16 range. So the big question coming up is, are we going to continue staying here or break through, since we're basically on at that resistance area? So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. So what was all the news happening this week? So I'll briefly note the videos I already posted this week, but also close out on the newer stuff. So first video included a few items with Babcock, which you should be very familiar with considering there was a PR on September 13 saying they're using Palantir for the AIP product. Now we know they were doing work with the UK Navy specifically for submarines, and there was a news story also that the UK government signed a total of $4.8 billion or 4 billion pounds of contracts with defense contractors, and that's to modernize their diesel-powered subs to nuclear. Now, Babcock was mentioned specifically in the PR, so there was 3 points I found important. One, more business for Palantir's client is better for Palantir, of course, and that's good for their business because obviously there's money to pay out, but also opportunities to showcase their value some more. Then second, this is a modernization of submarines, so that means there could be more opportunities lying in wait for modernizing other aspects of the Navy or other branches of the UK military. And then lastly, the mission of Palantir being Western aligned is important because the motivations for modernization was to mitigate Chinese aggression. So although it's with the UK, they are also working with Australia nearby, so it's always great to see Palantir's customers winning. Now, also in the same video, we had the NNSA, National Nuclear Security Administration, present, where the speaker talks deeply about their issues on modernizing, as well as their aging and changing workforce. So before they relied on experienced individuals staying for a long time, but with people not staying the 30-40 years anymore, now with only 5 to 10 years, the need for the knowledge to be kept in the organization and not lost when people retire or leave is even more crucial today. So plus, the security measures from Palantir are needed for their kind of business and processes where trackability is needed. So their presentation demonstrates how Palantir can bring your cultural and just plain organization across your whole org into the 21st century. Then the other video that was posted by Palantir covered is much more pragmatic and practical, since it is for a commercial customer, Komatsu. They did a demonstration of how they streamlined their part services along their supply chain and ordering processes. Essentially, they brought a very real example with tying all their data together with ontology while having a growing knowledge base amongst all their service technicians interacting with their single source of truth system that all lies together with the supply chain and AI chat features to capture unstructured data and make it usable. I know that's a mouthful. So with the NNSA and Komatsu example, it shows how Palantir is not just a one-trick pony, but rather an actual operating system for the catered needs of each individual organization, where they can build on top of that to bring them value. Then next, I covered Lockheed Martin's presentation, which focused on Apollo. So I know most people, it was a very simple example of them changing the colors on their display of the markers from yellow to blue. But I think for those who work in deploying software, or even just code in general in a secure environment, we know all the big tech firms and new startups might use the hottest deployment automation, but remember, around the country there are still folks where there are manual processes riddled in the middle of reviewing code and results before people feel safe to merge onto their production branches. But essentially, Palantir helps automate this in a secure fashion in an IL5 environment, and the best part was that Lockheed Martin said they plan to continue expanding the use cases of Apollo to IL6 environments and more use cases in general. Then we got a bombshell of an article from Bloomberg. Now, just being short of saying Palantir won the NHS, they have unidentified folks who are close to the process saying Palantir will be awarded the contract. Now, in my video, I made sure to say I'm wearing my speculation hat, but putting some clues together with Bloomberg being comfortable to publish this, as well as the other clues we have with the NHS England campaign to the public, that £2 million there, I feel a little more comfortable thinking they're winning some or most of the contract for the NHS. Now, like I said, things are not for sure yet or anything officially published, but Bloomberg putting this out definitely adds gasoline to the media frenzy fire. But I also want to note Yahoo Finance made a video about this topic as well, and I'll talk about that a little bit later too. Then the following day, Palantir and PwC wanted to let the world know they are expanding their partnership. I made a quick video on this because 3 things really stuck out to me that obviously will help Palantir around their expansion to more clients. And this isn't new news with them working together with PwC, but to formalize it and ensuring AIP is included in the PR is big already. So first, PwC has their own network of trusted clients that they've been working together with, and especially for those who aren't already working with Palantir, this is a big opportunity to get them more exposure and expand that. Second, PwC has their own consultants with their own expertise and may be better equipped to apply Palantir's products to these clients' issues rather than relying on forward deployed engineers to start that process all over again and learning about the clients. And you might as well leverage all the networks you have already. And then third, if PwC is expanding this relationship, who's to know if other consulting firms that also implement software will start to do the same thing with Palantir at a much wider scale. Essentially, it could be the start of an avalanche effect that can speed up adoption of Palantir to run in the background without Palantir needing to run these implementations themselves and sending forward deployed engineers, since they'll be relying on these other networks of consultants. And then in my last video is based on all the YouTube videos Palantir is posting to their channel. Now, I'm not covering them all individually, but I've obviously explained a few previously, but let me know in the comments if there are any in particular that you want me to break down. But essentially, I see 3 important outcomes that come from wrapping this up. First is they are providing so many use cases and examples from many different clients across so many industries, and that's to persuade others and have them visualize their own similar issues with their respective businesses to possibly sign up with Palantir. Second, this demonstrates the willingness of their clients to even share and talk about their experience with Palantir and just put a face to it. This is a huge networking opportunity for prospective clients to ramp up much more quicker, since there are other folks who've already gone through the process and the same things, and these are other higher ups from other companies, even with their competitors. So it's hard to turn that down and feel like you're falling behind, since you want to try to get on the same page here. And then third, clients are getting educated on Palantir's products, capabilities, and working language with FDEs even before clients are interacting with Palantir directly. So this can speed up the deployment process and increase client satisfaction because they know the possibilities and capabilities and can ramp up that much faster to their vision of how they want to use Palantir. But either way, it's always great to have more working examples to show Palantir is not a black box. We obviously don't have the source code to see the mechanism of this working on a technical level, but a little rant here. Sometimes it feels like people keep calling Palantir a black box until they have that exact source code, but you literally don't have that insight into any other company anyways, unless there's an open source thing that they're willing to share. So there's no excuse anymore to say, I don't understand what Palantir does. It's literally all here with examples and clients saying what it does in layman terms. And if you're a company, maybe sign up for an AIP Bootcamp, and then you'll get a really first-hand example there. Now, what I haven't made videos on, some bad news first. If you want to see it that way, I want to shout out Lord Grimm for finding this one, but UBS, who acquired Credit Suisse, looks to be retiring Palantir. Now, it's not necessarily a huge surprise considering they came into their organization through the financial rescue of Credit Suisse, which ultimately wiped out those shareholders. But Palantir in this case was working with them since 2016 on compliance, but since they are coming into UBS through a position of weakness and kind of just being seen as a leftover system that's being acquired here, it would be a tough uphill battle of miracles that would basically have them being kept. Considering they plan on cutting 2,700 out of 3,000 solutions, so that's 90% that they're cutting. I just wanted to add this in because not every news is going to be good on Palantir, and we all know, but sometimes we just need to hear it. And this is obviously the exception rather than the rule, considering UBS wasn't the client, where Palantir even doesn't have a chance to prove themselves and get that buy-in because they just got acquired. So they're probably just looked at as the baggage that can be cut to integrate the two companies, but who knows, maybe in the future they may be considered again. Now, the insider selling, more sells from Alexander D. Moore, and I feel like a broken record here, but feel I need to add this kind of news to my videos to continue educating folks. Just read the Form 4 SEC filing. These are always posted when major insiders are selling. He sold 21,900 shares, around $16.02 per share, so he got a nice exit price in the recent run-up for these shares, but regardless, look at the explanations below. This is from a pre-existing trading plan, and you'll see this is basically in the majority of the Form 4s, alongside tax reasons, paying for options as other reasonings. But always remember to look at Form 4. Now, the counter argument is always, if you truly believe in the company, you'll never sell a share, of course, as an insider. Well, everyone has their own reasonings and bulk of shares, especially if you've been accumulating from over time. But this isn't a large portion of this director's remaining shares, with 1.74 million shares remaining. So in the end, this is not news to me. Then back to the NHS, so Yahoo Finance titled their video, Palantir Secures Contract with UK's National Health Service. Now, this title is definitely presumptuous, but if you watch the video itself, there isn't any real confirmation yet on who won the FDB contract. Now, I'm not trying to justify it myself. I definitely titled my earlier video on the Bloomberg article, Breaking, Palantir wins NHS contract, says insiders. but at least I let everyone know that it's per the insiders close to the talks, which is what it's actually in the article. So we're all playing this YouTube game here, and I just wanted to know this was something that came up and a lot of people were talking about it. I just think it's funny. But either way, with my speculation head on, there just seems to be more clues that Palantir can win this NHS contract or some of the NHS contract if they're sharing it with someone else, and really just want this all behind once there's an official answer here. But always be careful and not just read the headlines and kind of read the videos or read the articles more closely. And then Alex Karp strikes again, but out in the United Arab Emirates or UAE, where he spoke at the AIP, which is an energy conference. Now, it's a 40-minute interview and a lot of the similar talking points we are used to as investors around artificial intelligence and Palantir's philosophy. But I think the biggest significance here is that this is out in the Middle East first. And even if politics might not be the same here as we are used to in the West, on the commercial side, there was a lot of opportunity here, especially in regards to the energy industry. One question did stand out, though, at the very end, and Dr. Karp gave a very diplomatic answer where the interviewer asked what the UAE could learn from the US when it comes to technology. Now, there's no denying innovation in software has been a bright spot for the United States, but he cleverly also speaks to the learnings and engineering feats that the Middle East has implemented and what they have to offer as well, and it's just to learn between them. So I think he took a very good approach in the interview overall. I think it was great for the crowd, and it was very business friendly as well, and understanding of the environment that he's in. And then to close out on a lighter note here, Coach Rap made an awesome tweet, kind of catching the Palantir community by storm on X. He's calling AIP Bootcamps Palantir's Tesla moment, because people can actually take out their products for a test drive now and actually put it into their heads now how to use software. And also check out Amna's video on this topic as well on his channel, XFinance411. He's a great speaker here, really expands on the importance of this moment, and also ties in the PwC partnership, which, coming full circle, Coach Rap is actually doing work with Palantir products there under them. And a mini side note too, just for me to show off, little flex too, he stopped by my PwC video and dropped a comment. So I appreciate you both, all of your contributions to the Palantir community. But what are your thoughts though on all this news here? I know it was jam-packed. Let me know below, and thank you all for watching, and appreciate my channel members and audience, and I'll see you in the next video.